can you tell us a little bit about why you started Terpnash and what sets Terpnash apart from other NFT sites?
That's a good question. It's funny because I heard about NFTs, maybe 7, 8 years ago. And I was a little, really kind of skeptical of the whole idea because I was firmly entrenched in the print business. And as the print business developed over the next, 7, 8 years, it really kind of went through a shift. And what we were starting to see is the older generation was becoming less active, and the younger generation was starting to become interested in other ways to view art. And the industry's really kind of gone through a big change on the physical print industry side of it. And I realized maybe 2, 3 years ago, someone reintroduced me to NFTs. And I started to take a harder look at it and looked at what they had done and some of the possibilities. And then I started to really do some research into it. And I realized that there was a real opportunity there because a lot of what was being created was done by computers, digital type format. So someone would, get on their computer and digitally create some artwork that was either static or it had a lot of movement in it. And there's some really fascinating things out there, and they're visually quite interesting. But when you'd search for something that was more traditional, like something representational, wildlife or a landscape type scene or a portrait or something, you might find it on some of those major sites, but you're really, really lost in that shuffle. There's so many digitally created platforms out there that cater to that, and there was really no one that focused on a traditional artist. And so I decided that it was a great opportunity for us to branch into that based on our market in specifically dealing with, your traditional artists and their artwork. And it's something that, we view as another way to really enjoy art. I think that NFTs are really unique in that you can have a display screen or even your TV, for example, and you can have thousands of images in your collection that you can view on one spot on your wall. You really can't do that when you purchase physical prints. So it's a great opportunity there for people to really view a lot of art that you like. And I think that's important that you buy art that you visually like, not because you think it's going to make money.
What about the decline in NFT sales? Are NFTs dead?
I kind of laugh at that. And here's why. So the industry is very, very new. It started kind of picking up steam in 2020. In 2021, the industry did around $15.5 billion. It really took off in 2022 and jumped up to about 23.7 billion. In 2023, this year, yes, there's a decline and it may reach about 7 billion. So, when you're talking billions, I don't think that something is dead. I think and this is just my opinion from an outsider's kind of standpoint, the decline is really because I think a lot of people got involved in NFTs for the wrong reason. They were viewing it as an investment, some way to make money. You're buying art on speculation that it might go up, and that's just the wrong way or wrong reason, in my opinion, to buy art. You should really always buy art because it's something that, really moves you or speaks to you in some way, because visually it's appealing. Whether it reminds you of a location you visited, or it's a scene or something that just provides you enjoyment, something that you really like looking at. If you want to get into investments, get into the stock market. You should never buy art as an investment. It's just not smart, I think, having been in this industry for years and years, because, you never know. It's a crapshoot. You know, buy into a business that has a proven track record, that has a product that produces something, and invest in the market that way if that's what you want. With NFTs, as I'd said before, there's so many neat ways that you can now view it and enjoy it, that I think the industry is really going to increase. I mean, there's so many companies that are getting involved, and we can talk about that sort of in a lot more detail.
So then, how do people even view NFTs?
That's a fun subject, and I get really excited about this one. When you think about the advancement of TVs and display screen technology, it's really kind of fun and exciting. You had tube TVs, so long ago, it seems, and then flat panels came out, and that was exciting, and 1080p resolution, and everyone got excited about that, and then suddenly, then there's 4K. And that seems to be just a huge standard now. And now there's even, 8K resolution coming out. And there are some manufacturers that are really pushing the envelope with what can be done. Samsung, for example, has something called the Wall TV, which is a compilation of tiles put together that you can create almost any size you want. And they have another TV, a specific product called the Frame TV, and even LG has a specific TV models that can cater to displaying artwork. And there are dedicated display screens out there that are specific to NFTs. We've actually partnered with a great company called Muse Frame, based on Australia. And they have a display screen that'll go up to 55 inches. And the neat thing is these things can be displayed on the wall in a horizontal format, or if you want, right on the wall, you give it a twist and you can turn it into a vertical format. And so it's a really great way to put something on your wall and view NFTs without taking up any more wall space. And that, as I said before, you can have thousands of NFTs in your collection that you can stream or cast to a dedicated, Muse frame. And if it is, let's say you broke it up into horizontal versus vertical images, you can, just rotate your display in however format you want to look at, whether you want to look at vertical images or horizontal. And with the advancement that's taking place, that these TV manufacturers are investing, it's only going to just improve from where it is now. And there's no reason really not to get involved. It's just going to be, obviously original art will never, ever, ever go away. That's just, people are always drawn to that. It's an original piece, something that an artist or an individual created. And from there, the print industry will always be a part of another way to view art. It's a great way for artists to get their works out there and available to others to view, but there are some limitations with that. With NFTs, it's just truly a global market. It's so easy. And an artist can get involved and people can view artwork on their display screens in their home and see art from literally across the globe from different artists, and things that really interest them. And they can have such a variety, which is really the fun part. You're not limited by your wall space. Unfortunately, I've run out of plenty of wall space in my home. I don't have much anymore. And so this is a great opportunity for me to enjoy more art because, it's just something I grew up with and I really enjoy. So, yeah, it's a really, really exciting subject and a field that will just really grow.
Why would someone purchase an NFT over a print?
Well, again, it sort of goes to what I talked about in wall space. And it really just gives someone more options to have a variety of art that they can view. It's possible that depending on how artists price their NFTs, it could be even at a lower price point than a physical print. When you have assuming you already have a display screen, a way to view it, you don't have the cost of having to frame a piece of art. You just cast it or show it on your dedicated or your TV, and you can view it that way. So, it just sort of depends the price points. And there's just lots of variety and options that you can have over, let's say a physical print.
How do users buy NFTs?
So there's a few ways. One is they can use crypto, and that will be available on our site. But probably the easiest and more, traditional method would be with a credit card, and that's what we have on our site as well. And that's really an easy way for people to get involved that aren't perhaps as knowledgeable about crypto and all of that. So we're trying to make it as simple as possible for people on our site to really participate in this, because we really believe in its ability for people to enjoy art, and it really opens up much more of a global market that way, and it just provides more options for people. I mean, if you want to use credit card, you can. If you want to use crypto, you can do that as well at some point. So, but just trying to make it easy.
Okay, so if someone's an artist and they're interested in participating, what is the next step?
So if you're an artist and you want to get involved, what you do is you go to the site, and there's a button up in the upper right corner where you can log in. From there, you can create an account. So what you want to do is fill in all that information. We have videos available on how to do that. You can watch those, and you just kind of create an account like any other, traditional websites out there. It's pretty easy, and that's it. And then it'll send you a request to verify. So it sends that request to the email you're using to register the account. So and it is time sensitive, those emails. So you want to try and go back, find that email, and click on it to verify the account as quickly as you can. I believe it's 15, 20 minutes or something that you have time to do that. And then you'll get a notification that your account's been verified.
How does an artist submit an image for approval?
They'll want to log into their account, and then there's they click on their profile, and then from there they can select the art tab, and it says in the I believe the right corner you can upload images. So this gets into a really area that some artists aren't as familiar with in image quality. Some are, some aren't. Some think that just using an old iPhone, taking a picture of their art will work because, they look on their phone and the image looks great. Well, there's a lot more involved in that in terms of DPI, PPI, file size, the file format, in fact. But we'll talk about images and files in a second, I hope. So what they want to do is they go and select the image that they want from that upload button, and then they simply drag and drop or select it and then upload the image. Now, one thing to consider, though, is the image that is submitted is the image or file that will be used to create the NFT. So they really want to make sure that the image they're providing is the best quality that they have available, and one that is perhaps color corrected or something that they're going to be happy with. Now, every monitor is different, every TV is different. It's virtually impossible to completely control that, but that's going to be the method. And we have a video on that as well that people can watch. It's pretty simple process.
What does an artist need to consider when choosing an image to upload?
So this is probably the most important subject and most important thing that an artist gets right. I cannot stress this enough for artists. This is really important, that when they get their artwork photographed, if they have the ability to have someone do that professionally for them, do that. A lot of artists that this is their profession, that they make their living off of their art, they show with galleries. A lot of them will already be doing this, either for the gallery to promote their artwork or something. So they should have a file that's created for them. Or if back in the day they have a transparency, they can get that transparency scanned. So you want to have the best quality file you can. And I'm not talking about something that's, 1 megabyte. For example, one of my father's images, Howard Terpnash, he had a painting that was 40 inches high by 50 inches wide, and we had it photographed. In fact, I'm sorry, it was scanned. The transparency was scanned. That file, as a TIFF format, was around 450 megabytes. Very huge file. As a JPEG, it got converted. That file was around 108 megabytes. So there's a big difference there. And some iPhones now, you might be able to really get away with it. But there's a few things that can cause some problems. One is the sharpness. It might be out of focus, and that can really clobber you or come back and kind of cause problems for the artist when you may not notice it on a phone looking at it, but again, with this display screen technology, you can go up to nowadays 95 inches wide, and you take a bad image and you expand it like that, it's going to fall apart. So you really need to make sure it's in focus. Lighting is another thing. You don't want to have glare off the image. That's going to really ruin it, and that can again make life difficult for the artist if they try and correct for that. So getting a good file, making sure it's in focus across the image, making sure that the lighting is flat across the image, that you don't have highlights popping up. Sometimes artists will varnish their artwork and then photograph it. I don't recommend that. If you can, photograph it first, then varnish afterwards, because it can make photographing it, with the varnish on, very difficult, because varnish really wants to reflect the light. Our website is set up to upload up to 500 megabytes, and there's a reason for that. That will be coming down the road. I can't really talk about it right now, but we have some great things planned down in the future. So again, really the most important thing, and again, I want to stress this, is having the best quality file you can and set to pixels per inch on the horizontal. And if you want to set it to, for example, an 8K TV size, that's going to provide perhaps the best viewing across multiple platforms.
So then how can I get a good quality image?
So again, sort of what I just talked about is going to, having a photographer in your area that can photograph your artwork if possible. And I understand that's not going to be perhaps available to everyone. You can do it yourself. Again, some of those steps, things that I just talked about, are really important. Again, it's, making sure that everything is in focus and that your lighting is really good. You don't want to get highlights off your images or image because that's going to cause just too many problems, especially in your digital file. It'll just show up as white dots, and trying to correct for that, I mean, you could spend hours and hours doing that, and then you're just going to get frustrated and your image won't look good. So you're better off just getting your lighting right out of the gate, and getting the best possible image you can. We'll probably have something down the road here shortly, I hope, that will kind of talk about some options in terms of equipment. So if someone wants to do it themselves, what is sort of like the real professional level, what's a mid-level, and what's a lower level, and everything in between would suffice and work very well. So we're going to try and come up with that as at least a guide for artists and to help people out.
So if an artist has gone through all of the steps and submitted an image, what happens after that?
So what we do is we review all the artwork that gets sent to us and look it over. We want to make sure that we're not getting kind of crayon drawings or stuff that's going to be really inappropriate. And so we review all of that, and then we either accept it or reject it, and the artist will get a notification for each of those. And from there, once it's been approved, they can go in and they actually can create the NFT with that file that they submitted.
How do artists get paid?
The artist, this is, it's an interesting flip on sort of the print industry. It's kind of reverse percentages, which is great. So, I mean, for an artist, it's a fantastic opportunity. And so the artist can get 80% of the sale. What they do is they set up a MetaMask account that's kind of standard across what we do across our site. We have a video for them on how to do that. And the artist will get paid into their MetaMask account, and that happens twice a month on the 15th and the 30th. We pay twice a month. From there, what the artist can do is they can create a wallet, and there's so many different wallets out there. We'll probably suggest a few, but it's really up to them. And from that, they go into their MetaMask account, and then they can transfer the funds to their personal wallet. And then from their wallet, they can convert the funds to cash, and it goes into their bank account. So there are a few little, steps to jump through, but it's, pretty simple. They just have to be willing to kind of put in that time and do it. And, they get paid, we think pretty well for it. So, and, there's also ways that artists can get paid on resales. Which is, another neat thing about NFTs that make them really unique. So, for example, when an artist creates their NFT, they're going to have a option that they can select the amount of royalty they would like to make on potential resales. And we give them a range. And so it's really up to them what they want to pick. So all of those funds, whether it's their first time sale or it's a resale, will go into their MetaMask account. And then from there, they can, withdraw those funds in the way I just talked about.
After an artist has created their NFT, how do the NFTs sell?
For Terpnash, we promote images sort of on a limited basis and not necessarily the specific artist. You know, um, you can have thousands and thousands of artists, and you can't kind of single them out that way. It wouldn't be appropriate. So we try and do maybe just the images or a selection of images. It's really up to the artist to promote their work and inform their customers. With the amount of social media accounts out there that a lot of artists have created and the number of followers that they might have, they sort of have a real great built-in customer base. Now, obviously not all those customers or those followers might be interested in NFTs, but it's a good place to start. With NFTs, it's such a global market. It really allows artists now to reach so many more people than maybe they wouldn't have been able to get to before. And so we promote on obviously a global scale into different markets as well. And it gives people an opportunity to come to our site, and let's say they're interested in landscapes, for example, but let's say it's specific. They want maybe like seascapes, something that they like. Maybe they live on the coast, maybe they visited the coast, and they want to get something that reminds them of that. So we've tried to break it down into different genres and categories of art that people can look for, and that goes for photographers as well. It's all, again, our platform is designed for sort of the traditional artists that create things on some type of medium.
What does the future hold for Terpnash?
As we get launched, we've tried to keep the site as simple and easy to use as we get going, but we actually have multiple things planned for the future, and we'll be kind of phasing those in different stages. A lot of people are asking me, well, are you getting out of the print business? Well, the answer is no. It's just going to shift a little bit. Can't really get into too much about that because, again, something's going to be coming down the road, but we really have some exciting things planned and are looking always for input, from people. If they have some ideas, we'd love to hear them. We're always open to suggestions. But the development of this technology and the way it's headed in the future is really going to be kind of an exciting time to experience and watch as it grows.